What's going on? Minutes with Mellon. Long video, make it shorter. This is going to be a quick one about the debate. I forgot to do the debates. This shit's funny.
Ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
What in the name? No!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. If you're like me, you lost a few.
But it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
What in the...
And I'll leave the link. It was in Hong Kong, and it was actually in Nebraska. Literally nothing. Everything Tampon Tim says is a lie. So here's the original Whopper.
As a young man, I was just going and going to teach high school in Fosan in Guangdong, and was in Hong Kong in May of '89. And as the events were unfolding, several of us went in, and I still remember the train station in Hong Kong. It was a large number, especially European, I think, very angry that we would still go after what had happened. But it was my belief at that time that the diplomacy was going to happen on many levels, certainly people to people, and the opportunity to be in a Chinese high school at that critical time seemed to me to be really important. And it was a very interesting summer, to say the least, because if you recall, as we moved in that summer and further on, and the news blackouts and things that went on, you certainly...
He wasn't there. Okay. Tiananmen Square, okay? Now, how does he explain that lie? You're never going to believe it. The TLDR of it is that he claims he misspoke. Misspeaking means like, I'm like saying, hey, Coffee Brand Coffee is buy free, get one buy, or something like that. This is what he said last night.
Square protest.
He knew they were
in the
asking
spring
that. They
of
told him.
1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
Oops.
Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural.
I lied.
He goes on a fucking...
I lied. He literally is reverting to, I grew up in a small town, so I lied?
Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth.
He lied. Where he literally just has to admit he lied. By the way, the debate moderators were some of the most, my 1 o'clock video is going to tear into these two broads. Actually worse than what ABC was. Worse than what, I don't know any other way to put it.
Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's
a liar. When he says knucklehead, he means liar.
Always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years.
What?
And
so
in
you're calling
Congress,
other people
I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric.
I lie.
The impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it's Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was, I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of
What is it? He's literally short circuiting. You lied. You did not miss, that. I went
in governance.
You're like, what? Also, this one.
So I've become friends with school shooters.
What? Now, maybe he meant their families. It's possible. But, I mean, what? That's going to be the moment of the debate, too. Trump immediately pounced on it, memeing it. It's going to be the effect of the debate. He also told what many people are now picking at, saying is a potential another whopper. Governor Tim Walz just said his 17-year-old son witnessed something while one of these events happened, when this, school incidents. Did Tim just say, I mean, it will become, shots fired and not this and that, and they will add in the vicinity. There is no evidence. Answer. There is no widely reported or confirmed proof of a direct evidence presented in the public domain up until October 1st, 2024 that specifically details Tim Walz's son, Gus Walz, witnessing an incident while playing volleyball. The incident Tim Walz mentioned during the vice presidential debate was conveyed as a personal anecdote without immediately accompanying evidence like video footage or police reports directly linking Gus to the event in question. There is no evidence of what Tim said that his son saw this incident, and I'm willing to bet that will come out as yet another lie. Now, how is this affecting Kamala Harris? Well,
but while Joe Biden won this state in 2020,
so you're voting for Donald Trump?
There are warning lights for Kamala Harris.
I feel like he aligns more with America and American values than.
Yes, he does. Biden flop to lose 1.5 to almost 2 points. The way the site does rounding. Right now, there's only 0.2 of a point between them. And hilariously, both candidates are under 50%. So it shows still a lot of uncertainty. But J.D. Vance absolutely helped Donald Trump last night. And Tim Walz made Kamala Harris look like an idiot. We all know that she should have taken Josh Shapiro to try and secure Pennsylvania, but he to win that are anti. I'm a knucklehead. During the vice presidential debate, Senator J.D. Vance claimed Vice President Harris became appointed border czar. CBS confirmed rates as this is false, which is incorrect. It's absolutely 100% true. And the mainstream media machine that's been propping her up is completely melting down. This post, by the way, has 2.5 thousand replies to just 600 likes. Everyone's saying Harris, CBS News themselves published Harris to lead administration's efforts to stem migration at border. I mean, the mainstream media literally cannot save her for how bad this was. Here's Donald Trump literally posting Trump Vance 24. We're not friends with school psychos. Nervous as heck. Tim Walz jittery debate performance gets him called out on social media. Walz nervous, unsteady. JD absolute perfect first answer. Kara Mead said, I'm getting secondhand anxiety from Walz. Topsoil because nervous, and JD Vance. It's okay to be nervous in most things, but not as the vice president who's a heartbeat away. I've been telling the world that we.
I just wanna let you know I'm proud. I just wanna let you know I'm proud.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then they show some other media.
Even gay Twitter is in love with JD Vance after all the. Like a lot of people, Kamala Harris tried to do the.
All right, so we're gonna just roll. We're gonna roll through it. Game recognized game. Okay,
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
We got the video of the dragon ones up. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is there we go. Okay. There we go. This is I'm friends with school shooters.
One of the funniest things that came out of Tim Walz's weird bug eyes. Did you see where they were like, this actually, where they had like some sort of expert come out and say, no, this is I'm totally dialed in and I'm very.
Yeah, Politico. Politico did that. Yeah. And the
Nobody
beard.
watching that believes you.
The beard's intimidating.
Yeah. I bet you their neighbor.
Fetterman calls him. How bad is it when John Fetterman looks at you like this? When John Fetterman is looking at you like this, you've effed up. You've messed up, right?
Well, it also looks like caveman assemble. Like you have that hulking guy.
John Fetterman's upset because he's like, that's racist against cavemen.
And billions to Israel. Before I went live with your previous guest, shout out to German Shepherds.
But yeah, they just had another debate with Carrie Lake, and she just demolished this fucking dude.
100,000 pounds of drugs seized at ports of entry. What is the bigger threat to you, the flow of migrants or the flow of drugs? 1 minute.
They're both terrible. It's a war against America. We have an invasion of people coming in. They look like soldiers coming in, soldiers from other countries coming in, pouring across our border. And then we have the cartels empowered by Ruben Gallego, trafficking drugs into our state. We are the funnel for fentanyl. I have met so many parents and loved ones on the campaign trail who come up to me and they wait usually till the end of an event. You can spot it. There's a sorrow that you see in their face, and they come up to me at the end of an event and they say, I lost my son. He was 16 years old. He took a half of what he thought was a Xanax pill, and he's not with us. 20-year-old daughter, a young mother. We are losing a generation of people. We're losing an entire generation of young people, and you should know better, Ruben. You've even said this. You have admitted that you have a loved one who was a convicted felon drug trafficker, who's trafficked drugs into our country.
Mr. Gallego, a minute to respond to this.
I want to finish this because I feel for you. You got emotional talking about that, a close relative of yours. And for you to continue to vote to empower cartels to bring in fentanyl, which is a weapon of mass destruction, into our country. You talked about the sorrow.
Mr. Gallego, 1 minute.
He talked about the sorrow he felt from having a family member who trafficked drugs and how hard it was for him. And what you're doing to families right now, Ruben, is you're making that be their reality. You're making it so moms and dads out there are losing people because of drugs. Your
Mr.
votes
Gallego.
on the border have empowered the cartels.
And they were trying to cut her off, and Gallego just kind of sat there and took it. Gotta speak up there, man. They gave you like 3 opportunities.
But yeah, she just went on to fucking destroy him. I'll link it in. It's hilarious. Back to tab. This shit is fucking hilarious.
Polling shows that a lot of people, especially independent voters, really want this to be a change election, and that they tend to break for you in terms of thinking about change. You are a member of the President administration. Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of. But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have aspirations, we have dreams, we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity. And
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. All you got here. I'm Donald Trump.
Polling shows. that a lot of people, especially.
But yeah, I forgot to do the debate. That was the debate, and then Obama. They're in panic mode right now. So if you remember during the DNC, you know, when they had free abortion vans outside the DNC, and they had a wall around the DNC, you know, a wall to keep them safe. Yeah. Obama in his speech, he said, oh, and Trump has this weird obsession with crowd sizes. This just came back to bite him in the ass. It's fucking hilarious.
Yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running, said Obama. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses, he said. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly here, that you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I guess, Todd, when you couple alternatives, feeling the, because all say that seems to be more pronounced.
Turnout in our neighborhoods. He's complaining about the crowd size. That's fucking hilarious.
Right. This is not the speech of a winning campaign. A winning campaign doesn't go out and beat voters over the head and say, you must be sexist. This is the speech of a campaign that feels they are losing. It's a campaign that feels desperate. And that what do Democrats do when they feel desperate? They resort to an ism, racism, sexism. We have seen this playbook all the way to John McCain, Mitt Romney. This is what they do. It never occurs to them that maybe, just maybe, men, and black men included, want lower prices at the grocery store, want a high-paying job, want to be able to provide for their families. I had a friend text me last night and say there was a black voter in North Carolina that came up and said, I'm voting for Trump. A friend of his, I'm voting for Trump, pulled out his wallet and said, this isn't feeling really good right now. This is why I'm voting for Trump. And that is what is motivating this.
Yeah. Yep. Man, they said the same thing on CNN, if you guys remember. I forget his name. Jim somebody, I forget his name. But, yeah, he's like, if you value your paycheck, you're going to vote for Trump. And then the other guy looked at him like, what the fuck did you just say? But, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We'll have to burrow in on the next one.